Right, I am up the tower again. We've extended it to 5 meters. It's nice and wobbly. And what we are doing is we are just laying out for the roof. So this is going to be above the kitchen, 2 V-luxes, one here, and then this side is there. This is the long slope with 4 V-luxes. And what we are doing is we are measuring corner to corner from the inside plate here to the inside of this wall plate just there. And we are checking that the building is square. Well, we're checking that the wall, that this kind of fake ridge plate or faux ridge plate that I've put in is square. Now we've done it on this one. We set it up there directly above that triple pillar, and we took a measurement and it was 3295. And then we've come into here and we've measured from there, and we used the spirit level to plumb line down, and we got exactly the same, 3295. I think it was 3297, but 2 mil over this span I'm perfectly happy with. Now what we're doing is we're just setting up a little nail there so we can latch the tape on, and we're going to measure to the inside of this one here again, and then that one there is going to be an absolute faff because the scaffold is still in the way, but we will have to figure something out. So yeah, that's how we are checking that this ridge beam here is perfectly square. Okay, welcome back. I say welcome back. I haven't filmed for a little bit. I am now just getting this level working and straight and trying to make the whole thing level, which is working really well so far. Got Barry helping me, he's just in there. What we've done is we've pocketed out in the wall there, big enough for the flitch plate, which is going to be those 2 timbers sandwiched together, and then that steel beam in between them, and it's going to be sitting dead on that level there. So what I did is I got the straightest timber I could that was small, and I've put it on there, and it is perfectly level, which is really, really nice. So that is the height of my pillar, and then the ridge height will be kind of up here ish, because that's only a 6x2 and we've got 9x3s for the actual flitch plate. So yes, that is really good. As I mentioned before, this is just that was just a temporary idea of what it was going to look like, just to help me out. So it will be a little bit higher, but it will still come well below that window, and these will angle out like that. We have managed to got the scaffold in, as you saw. Now we've got that steel beam and we've got the timbers all in place, ready to go. I'm just going to go get the bolts to bolt it all together. I'm going to stick it up in that hole there, bear it across to there. So I'm just going to run to the shops, leave them to do the heavy lifting, and I'll be back in a minute. So it's Monday again. Hello. On Saturday evening I came out and I did some measurements from here down to here, and we were perfectly square, which was great, but we were also too low. This ridge beam was too low. We originally did it on here, on this brick, and that meant that the slope of the pitch down that way on the long side was about 12.5 degrees, which is just way too low. You can get 12.5 degree pitch tiles, I know, but the flashing kit for a V-Lux only works down at 15 degrees. So it was too low. So this morning, some of the guys came back and very kindly helped me get this up. And what we did is we've gone higher and we've gone further this way. So we've raised the pitch and we've shortened the pitch, which obviously has the impact of making it steeper and less shallow. This is obviously very, very sturdy and strong, and it's a compressible material on a compressible material on brick, so it's no different from what was specified by the structural engineers. And by going upright like this, it's got all the weight bearing down It's exactly the same as that there, effectively. It is no different. So that's super sturdy. And this is now perfectly square to the back wall there, or to the side wall. So each side is exactly 376 meters from corner to corner. And this pitch here, when I've measured the pitch from here to here, is now 17.5 degrees, which is perfect for tiles. I've got 17.5 degree low pitch tiles, and flashing kits on Velux's work at 15 degrees and above. So we are now better. It did mean we had to raise it, which was a bit of a pain, because we couldn't just raise it in line here, because the amount we'd have had to raise it to get the pitch up would have been too much. And also we would, because of these windows here, we would have been fouling on the windows on the slope. As it is, that one is pretty close coming down on this pitch here. It's going to just touch under there, I think, but I think it will be okay. I think. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. But it is on, and it's sturdy and it's secure, and I've braced it and everything, and it is going nowhere. So I'm really, really happy with that. So, jobs this week. We are just finishing the insulation up in here. I've got my mate Michael here helping me. Warren is back this week with us, which is nice. Great to have him back on site. And we're going to be finishing the insulation. We're just getting the expanding foam gun just to make sure we tighten up any of the little gaps and cracks, so I get nice good quality U values in there. Then we're going to be doing some OSB boarding on the inside and some plasterboard down in that garage, because that's pretty much watertight. And then I might even start cutting the rafters for this roof. Oh, got to do the render carrier board on the back side of this. On the back side of that there, I've got to do some render carrier board. So I'll need the guys' help with that. It's going to be a busy week. It is the day of building the rafters. Or cutting them at least, anyway. I've got the template out there. I had a go, I had two separate templates. I had a go with this one, had a go with that one, just to find the exact angle. It's actually really difficult. You know, I've measured the run, I've measured the rise, I've used a trigonometry calculator to figure it out. And it's almost 100% there. It is close enough that I'm happy. I think there's less than half a centimetre, about 4 mil gap at the bottom, but it's tight everywhere else. It's really difficult to dial in, because on my chop saw you can't do, you know, say it does, you know, say I need 39.5 millimeters. Well, it does, you know, 39 millimeters, but not 39.5. And over this sort of distance, half a degree, say it does 39 degrees or 40 degrees, and I need 39.5 degrees, say, you know, you can't do half a degree on that saw other than just going in between the lines, and you could be at 0.5, you could be at 0.7. Anyway, over this sort of span, it's very, very difficult to figure it out exactly. And there has to be a degree of tolerance in these things anyway. So what we did is we've made sure that this is perfectly square to that wall plate over there. And it is. And then what I've done is I spent some time going through in my kind of notebook here, and I drew up the distance of it. It is exactly 4.61 meters at 23.9 degrees is what I've estimated it to be. When I tried it at 24 degrees, it was about an inch out. When I then dialed it to what I figured was 23.9, that's when I got down to that 4 mil difference. So it makes a huge difference. Just 0.1 of a degree over this sort of span makes a very, very big distance. It makes a very big difference. So what I did is I've drawn out the length roughly at a rough scale, and then I worked out, because I've got these Veluxes going in and how big they are, I used it to kind of get there iteratively. And then what I've done is I've actually marked it out on here, and I've also marked it out on that end over there. So if I come across this way, you'll be able to see all of these lines marked up with the distance in between. And then I've got a half length to go to the bottom of the Velux. These Veluxes are 94 centimeters wide from there to the start of that double over there. And so I obviously need a little half one in between to go up to the bottom of it to support it. They're really, really big, and they're 1.6 meters high. And I've got 2 of them in this space, one here and one here. And I wanted to lay out exactly where they were going to be so that they're not, you know, halfway over a counter, so they're not over the kitchen units over there, the cabinets. So I've laid them out and I've worked it out exactly, and I've got them perfectly in the middle where I want, and then I've split the distance in between the 2 so that it's a nice distance and a nice gap. And I've done that here. I've then also transferred that up onto here so that I've got them perfectly in line. And then what I've done is I've rolled that over and down onto this face here, so you can see them. Although I haven't written the measurements, I've drawn the lines here, so I know I'll have a double rafter here, I'll have a half rafter here, and I'll have a double rafter here, so that in this line I've got the Veluxes here will line up with the Veluxes in there. It's taken a long time. This has probably taken me about an hour to get all of these measurements dialed in exactly how I want them, to figure out exactly where things are going. I've been writing stuff down, I've been crossing stuff out and redoing it just to dial it in perfectly, because you only get one go at this, and I really don't want to be disappointed or unhappy with the outcome afterwards. So a stitch in time saves 9, and I've spent an hour doing these stitches, and it works out perfectly. I'm very happy with the spacing, the distancing of all of it. So that's all of that done. I do now have, I'm going to pause this and I'll drop down to the next level. I have a template one here, which I'm using to then mark out on all of the rest of them. It's marked up template, so I know exactly how many I need to be able to mark these up and to get them exactly right. This one, I've put it up there and I've tested it, and this is the one that I was saying there's about 4mm gap at the bottom, but the rest of it, the seat cut and everything, it's all as close as I'm able to get it, given this span and the distances and all the rest of that, and I'm perfectly happy. So that's my template. I'll be marking all these up, and then I've been setting up, I've got this set up here with the chop saw at one end and the circular saw at the other, so that I can make all my cuts and then lay them up on this little kind of scaffold tower here to then put them up and on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the end one, and then I'll probably start doing, I'll do a couple for here as well, just to offer up some support as well. So yesterday we cut all of the rafters for this side of the roof, the short side, and they're all up there ready and waiting to go, but I don't want to put them up yet until I've got some for the long side that can kind of counterbalance, I suppose, or counterweight, just help apply even pressure to each side of the ridge beam. And I actually can't go the whole way along here because I've got this scaffold, so I can go up just over halfway. That gives enough space for them to get the scaffold down, and then I can finish those off next week once they're done. Something I wanted to point out, I've got the Triton, a set of Triton Super Jaws. This is the super big one. Now I'm actually using it as a stand for this, and it's working really, really well. It is super, super solid and sturdy, and I've got the kind of outfeed thing at that end screwed into the floor joists. The setup works surprisingly well, actually. I'm really impressed. So if you don't want to spend the money on the stand for the miter saw, and you want something like Super Jaws anyway for the clamping power and for its ability to hold things, this works really well, this little combo. So we've spaced these out where they need to go, doubled up because we've got the Velux. So the Velux will be sat in between here, and this will be a half one that comes up to the underside of it. But we're getting them in nice and tight the whole way along, which is really, really nice to see. I am very, very pleased with that. The maths has worked nicely. That's sat well there on the bird's mouths and down there. It's actually starting to spit with rain a bit, so I'm not going to do much more filming. You can see we've got the crowns up on these. We're going to timber lock these together as well, just so that they're super, super sturdy. We're not going to be putting the half ones in because I'm going to measure up for the Veluxes, and then I'll cut up to it and then I'll attach above it. So that's fine. And obviously there'll be cross braces, a doubled up cross bracer that goes across like that. We're going to get the rest of these in, apart from the last one. The last one, the this here I need to redo, cutting the pebble dash down or chipping it away. So that one we're going to leave. We'll let rest it on, spray paint where I need to chisel away the pebble dash, and then we'll fix it in after. Right, I'm going to get on with it. Yeah. Right, these are almost all in now. Nice and snug. We've put timber locks in just in case. Where we've got doubles, we've doubled them up, got them nice and flat and level. This branch here is in the way. I spoke to the neighbour, they were fine for us to cut this branch off here so that I can get the rafter in. This would also have actually been dumping a whole load of leaves into the guttering as well, which would have been a pain. So we're going to chop that off, and that will allow us to get this last double in onto there. And then the roof is almost complete up until the point that I can take this off. Once that scaffold has gone, we can finish running these ones in all the way down. You can see how snug those are. Just lovely. There was a bit of twist on this timber, annoyingly. The rest of them are really, really snug. We've finished cutting and bringing up all of the rafters that we need to finish this. Once the roof has been tiled on Saturday, that scaffold can be removed and we can finish putting up these beams, finish scraping away any of the pebble dash that we need to, and get them installed. What we're doing now on this side of the roof is we're just measuring and marking up where the Velux windows are going to go. The way I'm doing it, I know that they're 94 centimeters wide, each Velux, so I've put these openings to 96 centimeters. The brackets on a Velux give you plenty of overlap, and the reason I've done it to 96 is it allows me to splay the corners of the plasterboard internally while I'm installing them, because I quite like it when the windows are splayed, when the plasterboard is splayed on the inside. So what I've done is I've done them to 96. Warren is just measuring and cutting a 96 timber here, which is going to go across the bottom. And what I'm doing is I've taken one of the lengths that was laid down here. You can see where it's marked out to go. I've taken it and I've put 2 marks on it. The first mark that I then cut goes right up to the edge of where the window is. And I'm literally just offering it up on the bird's mouth, flushing it the whole way up, and then drawing straight down the face of it because I've cut straight. And then what I've done on this side is I've then measured the thickness of the timber, 75mm, and I've marked this, and I know that I'm going to cut this off when I've finished and I've installed these. I cannot claim responsibility for the genius of this method. That I saw that being done by Robin Clevitt on one of his videos, and I just thought it was too good not to try that and not to have a go. And I'll be doing exactly the same on this here, where I've got the edge of the window there. I'll mark that up to the shoulder of the plumb cut, or up to the end of the plumb cut, and then I'll be chopping 75mm again off the end of it. But it allows a very, very consistent marking on all of them. Okay, so we have done as much of this roof construction as we can. You can see the big spaces here for the 2 Veluxes, braced in between the whole way up, and then on this side there's 2 Veluxes this way. Here there'll be 1, 2, there'll be another 3, 4, third and fourth one here, but obviously this scaffold that I'm standing on is in the way, so can't put that in yet. But we've cut all of the timbers, they're ready to go. So it's all there, it's all ready to go. Those are the little intermediate bits. Those are 1, 2, 3 sections there, ready to go. And then we've got another double, and then the single and the single, cut and ready to install as soon as this scaffold comes down in 3 days time, 4 days time. So yeah, that was really good. Hopefully you found this useful, helpful. I know I haven't filmed a vast amount of it just because I've been trying to get it done with the weather. It's been very on and off. If you can see how wet it is, but some of these timbers are absolutely drenched and very, very heavy as a result. So yeah, hopefully you found this useful. In the next video we're going to be covering how to insulate a roof correctly. We're doing another cold roof here. We're not doing a warm deck on this system because it's too high. So I'll be showing you another cold deck,
and it's going to be really, really insulated. The U value that we get down to is 0.11 kilowatts per square meter of U value, which is insanely low. That's kind of passive house standard. So really good, really solid there. So I'll show you how that works in the next video. Cheers.